Crew. They're 2.5-point home underdogs against the defending Eastern Conference champs. Shannon, this has been such a surprising series. Who wins tonight?
Man, I just don't see Skip. At some point in time, I just got to come to the realization that maybe the Sixers are just a better team. Now, we can get into this and talk about the coaching and the timeout situation and all this and all that, but maybe, Joel Embiid is the best player on the court. Now, you can make a case that, obviously, I think Jason Tatum is the second best player. It rotates from game to game. Is it Jaylen Brown? Is it James Harden? James Harden has had 2 games where he says, I'm the second best player on the court. But the consistency-wise, the Celtics just hadn't been consistent enough. Jason Tatum gets off to these horrible starts. He starts 0 for 8, 0 for 5. He gets it going, but it's too little too late.
Yep.
And they have very, very little impact on the game. He looks like you have a nice stat line, but he's 11 for 27. He's 9 of 25, which means that he's been very inefficient. They're behind. He's taking shots to try to get them back in the game, and it's exacerbating the situation. James Harden has been excellent because he's been able to control the game. The other night, he only had 8 shots, but he had 17 points, 10 assists, 2 turnovers. He's 2 rebounds away from a triple-double. And then when you get Joel Embiid, it's going to be Joel Embiid. He's the MVP for a reason. And then you get Tyrese Maxey throwing in 30. Skip, you're going to lose this game. And you're going to lose this game every time, and you're probably going to lose the game in convincing fashion like you lost game 4. If you let Joel Embiid get 30, you let Maxey get 30, you let...
Well, he hit 6 threes, so yeah.
Right. You let James Harden control the game like he controlled the game.
He did.
You're going to lose just like you lost the other day. Jaylen Brown has to get. Well, he starts hot, but he gets in foul trouble because he's guarding Harden. Harden is so crafty at drawing fouls.
He is.
And so now he goes to the bench. He gets out of a rhythm. He doesn't get back into that rhythm. I'm taking the Sixers. I've seen enough. And I thought the Celtics. This has been a very, very disappointing season for the Bucks and the Celtics, especially if they crash out. The Bucks have already fired their coach to let you know how disappointed they are in this season. But this would be horrible for the Celtics because I thought they were the second-best team all year in the Eastern Conference. And to go out in the second round after reaching the NBA Finals last year would be a huge, huge disappointment.
It would. Okay, so I thought Philadelphia was the first-best team in the Eastern Conference all year long. I picked them from before the season, picked them going into the playoffs to win the East. And yet, I have a confession to make. I don't have high confidence tonight.
At home?
I don't. And I'm going to warn you or remind you, Boston is a 2.5-point favorite in Philadelphia tonight. That's what the odds makers think of Philadelphia.
Is that the Doc effect?
It well could be. Thank you for bringing that up, or no thank you, because I got not one, I have 2 Achilles heels here that could hinder my ability to win this game. I did pick the Sixers in 6 games in this series. Doc, in his career, with a 3-2 lead, has lost 6 times. That's a lot of losses in playoff series. 6 times. Sixers in 6, or Doc, number 7.
Well, Skip, I don't know what you're thinking. I think if he loses a 3-2 lead, I'm not so sure he's going to be the head coach next year.
Agreed. I don't think he should be the head coach. I mean, you
lose 3-1 to Atlanta.
And I'm a biggest Doc fan. But listen, you got the goods this time. You got a squad. You're deep. You led the league in three-point shooting. You led the league in free throw shooting. You have the MVP. You have James Harden on any given night still playing at a Houston level. Okay, that brings me to James Harden. He also has a long and bloody history in this league of big game failures and no-shows, closeout games. Just when you least expect it, he just disappears. Well, I don't need that tonight because this other team is just too good to disappear on. And you saw what happened the 2 times James disappeared in this series. Disaster happened.
Correct.
Because he is the maestro. And Doc said after game 5 in Boston that he was a magician. It was actually today because it was a day game. He was a magician today. And I agree because, Shannon, you want to talk about basketball genius? He's a genius. He can see it and feel it and anticipate. He led the league in assists. They got a lot of league leaders. That it all should add up to, it should work.
Right.
That's why Doc is on something of a hot seat. But right now, the seat's cool because they're up 3-2. But you don't want to have to. It's just like the Lakers situation. I don't want to see them have to go back to Boston. They've won 2 games there.
Right.
But can you make it 3? I would not love that.
Right.
So they need to close the deal tonight. They need to slam the door tonight. Okay, what do I see from this Celtics team as opposed to last year's team? Last year's trademark was defense.
Yes.
They don't defend at the level last year's Ime Udoka team defended at.
Robert Williams is not the same defender, Skip. That knee, Al Horford is hit or miss.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart.
Okay. They have turned into, and this is Joe Mazzulla's way, they're three-point or bust team. And if I look at the stats from the year, when they shot 40% or better as a team this year, they were 34-2. Well, it's hard as a team to shoot.
40% from the 3.
But again, they were 34-2, so they did it a bunch of times.
Right.
When they shot below 40%, they were 29-28. So they are living and dying off the three-point line. And obviously in Game 5 in Boston, they pretty much died. They shot 31.6%. Okay, so not one time in this series have they shot above 40%. But they did have the one in Game 2 when they just had to, remember, after they'd blown Game 1 with no Embiid, and then Embiid came back. They went 20 of 51 because Mazzulla said, let's take more threes. So they almost doubled their three-point. They went for 26 to 51 attempts, and they made 20 of them. Well, any team, as we see with Golden State, if you can make 20-plus threes, you're going to have a real shot of winning.
Your chances of winning.
Okay. So, but I'm looking at this series, and Philly has done a very good job of defending them as best you can because they got a bunch of snipers, man. They got a bunch of people.
Well, the thing that they know that they got is that we can close out, and we got somebody that's going to beat you. It's going to be in the paint. And going to send it back at. So, Skip, I can close. I ain't worried about it. Go on in there. Y'all see what happened to Jaylen Brown? You remember?
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, you remember?
Yeah.
Derek White, you remember what happened? So go on in there.
Okay, because DeAnthony Melton will defend at a high level on the perimeter. Maxey will he'll bother you on the perimeter.
You got Tuck.
And you got, he's the ace in the hole because he has changed the way, he's changed their mentality. And I'm going to say it again about him. He's another one of those guys. Everywhere he goes, good stuff happens.
Right.
Well, that's why I picked him. He was the biggest reason I picked him this year because I thought he would change their face of their defensive mentality because he doesn't care about scoring. You say, well, you need to make, and he does need to make a couple of.
Yeah, he'll make one here or there.
Okay, but that's fine. But even if he goose eggs, if he can bother Jaylen Brown after the first quarter, if he can kind of shut him down for 3 quarters, it falls back on Jason Tatum. He has taken by far the most shots from the field, the floor, and from 3. He's taken by far the most free throws. And yet, in this series so far, if I look at Jason Tatum's stats, he's 30.6% from 3. Okay, he's averaging more than 7 attempts a game, but he's making only 30.6. Let's call it 31%. It's just, it's not good enough. Okay, is this going to be tonight's his night? It better be because I don't care how you slide. I'm a Jaylen Brown fan. I tell you, when I'm rooting against them, he scares me the most. But the reason he doesn't scare me all the time is he just doesn't get the basketball that much. Jason Tatum will have the ball. He will have the green light. He's going to shoot the ball. Now, will it fall? Because the other day, when they shot 12 of 38, they had a bunch of open looks. They did. They just missed a bunch. Al Horford went 0 for 7 from 3. Well, is he going to go 0 for 7 tonight? I doubt it. Well,
I mean, at least score some points. He ain't got to be 0 for 7 from 3, but can he get a couple of 2s? Can he get more than 0, Skip? Can Derek White give you more than 7?
All those guys can get hot-handed. It feels like it's going to be a 3-point contest. But I do love the fact that Joel, playing with the small tear in his knee, finally said, hell with the brace. It's bothering me. It just irritates me. It annoys me. And he took the brace off, and he just put a sleeve on to try to keep it as warm as he could. And I'm sure they're putting some icy hot type stuff, trying to just keep it as warm as they can. Okay? And he seemed to be a little freer in his movement in the last game. So, look, when you win that award, you got to live up. And it's like good news and bad news. The bad news is you got to live up to it. So I expect him, if you're that guy, You need to take this game over tonight in your house.
Because, Skip, you know everybody's gunning. When you win that award, man, everybody gunning for you. They want to show, I deserve that award. I remember when Karl Malone won it and he's facing Georgia. Give him my award. Skip, you remember Akeem Olajuwon when David Robinson got it and he had to face Akeem, and Akeem ate his lunch.
Ate his lunch.
So I don't know if Boston don't have anybody that can do anything with Joel Embiid.
No.
But as a team, we got to say, well, hold on, guys. We can't give Joel, let him have 34 and 10. We've got, look, if Maxey, if he goes and gets 30, 40, okay, we got to live with that. But Skip, that is his presence in the free throws. Like I said, Skip, he might not make but like 8 shots, but he's going to the free throw line 15 times.
Well, in the regular season, he averaged 12, and he averaged making 10.
Yeah, so that's 10 points. You say he hits 1 3.
Usually,
so
he made 3 the other day.
So that's 13, and then he makes 10 field goals out of 22, 23 shots. That's 20, so that's 33 points right there.
That's what happened. And of those 10, 5 of them might be dunks.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. He needs to do that tonight. He needs to block 4 more shots tonight. He needs to alter 4 or 5 more shots tonight. He needs to have an MVP performance. And Tuck has been in his ear constantly saying, don't drift. Don't sleep on us. You've got to. You're this guy. You're this good.
You're the biggest, baddest man out here.
You're by far the biggest, baddest man. Okay, so the MVP is there, and now what is Jason Tatum saying in his head right now? He's saying, I can't beat him at his own game.
Right.
I can't go in the post and terrorize him, but I can outplay him.
Right.
I can do it the way I do it. Because what do we give him, 6'8"?
Yeah,
right?
at least.
Maybe 6'9"?
And he's like, hey,